Mm-hmm.
So let's review. So part one, so the RIASEC test, right? And this told you kind of what your interests were, and you wrote up an essay on those interests and how they aligned with careers in psychology. For part two and part three, we're going to get more specific. And so part two, and really these are due at the same time. There's two separate drop boxes on Brightspace for them, but you can kind of think of it as one part. Next semester, I may just turn this into a 3-part assignment. Anyway, what is due next week is parts 2 and part 3. Now, part 2 is to make notes on at least 2 careers in psychology. Now, Lou, you say you're not really interested in too many careers in psychology. Try to do research on 2 relevant careers, whether they are, nobody's going to hold you to these in your future, but based on what you're interested in, what careers could align with what you're interested in, whether you actually want to pursue them in your future or not. Try to determine two careers that has something to do with your interests.
Could I when you say career, do I have to be a part of a different building, or can I make my own business with art therapy? Does that apply, or is that too out of left field? Because what I want to do is I want to create a website where I sell my art, but I also want kids and my nieces and nephews to help me paint, and we could do art therapy and express themselves authentically.
Yeah,
so is there a career in psychology I could do that?
Art therapy is certainly a career in psychology. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think you can maybe comment, reflect a little bit about how you would specifically want to do that, but art therapy in general should be your focus.
Perfect. Thank you. That's also confused about, but my brain was like, well, if you do this, it has to be like this, because that's just my autistic brain. Thank you, because that aligns with a lot of what I'm trying to do right now. I'm making a website to sell art, so that'd be perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So identify 2 careers that you're interested in. Talk about particular job or career titles that would be part of that career. What are the responsibilities of that career? What are the potential salary and compensation details of that career? So this is where you're going to do a little bit more research on what it actually takes to get into art therapy, to get into social work, to get into market research, to get into counseling, right? Whatever you are interested in.
And kind of skills, how many diplomas or whatever I need to be
skills,
good.
education, experience, job outlook, all of these things you should comment on. What is it going to take you to achieve these 2 careers in psychology? And then based on your research on those 2 careers and things like the responsibilities, salary, job outlook, education, you want to make goals. So, okay, you know what it takes to get there. What are the goals that you're going to define for getting to that career? So here you use skills, qualifications that you located for your 2 career choices you discussed in the previous 2 parts, and create a set of goals arranged on a timeline. So your goals should be divided into 3 categories. Short-term goals, what are you going to do in the coming months to push you closer to achieving these careers. Medium term, so 1 to 2 years, right? Maybe you want to graduate from FLCC and move on to a 4-year university, or you graduate here with your associates and you can jump right into a job. And then what are your long-term goals down the road, greater than 2 years from now? Try to identify at least 3 goals within each of these categories. Okay, so 3 short-term goals. One of your short-term goals could be pass your classes for this semester, right? Why not? 3 medium-term goals and 3 long-term goals. Okay. Next, make a plan for how you reach your goals. Enlist at least 3 organizations that can help. So institutions, schools, FLCC is one that can help reach your goals. A 4-year university that you might transfer to might help to reach your goals. certain professional organizations that you might need to get involved with, or volunteer opportunities, companies that you work, internships, places that you can get internships that might help your resume ultimately down the line to get one of these jobs. So make a plan for how to reach your goals, list 3 organizations that can help. And then lastly, kind of just a general reflection, include your goals and organizations on your timeline, include dates. So try to be specific about what you are trying to achieve. And like I said, you can make this, you can treat this assignment as seriously as you want.
So it doesn't have to be taken like too seriously, or it could be taken super seriously.
Right. Like if you're treating this assignment, and I would encourage you to treat it as seriously as possible, because maybe this actually helps you right over the next 2 years to achieve your goals, to think about what you're going to do in the short term, what you're going to do next year, what you're going to do down the line. But when I say like as serious as you want, nothing's holding you to these specific goals, right? There is a lot of research that suggests, right, short-term goals are good, and people tend to stick to their short-term goals, but long-term goals are not as effective. Now, 2 years isn't super long-term, but if you have a long-term goal of 10 years down the line, we don't know where life is going to take us. Long-term goals are much more flexible.
Yeah.
They're much less defined. So, take that into consideration when outlining these goals. Yes.
Kind of like how the higher you go in a tree, the more delicate the branches are.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it's kind of like the farther you are in the future, the more brittle and more abundant the outcomes are.
Sure.
So just to not stick to one branch, because that branch might not exist in the future.
That's a really good analogy. I like that a lot. Yeah, the trunk, right? Short-term goal, really strong, stable. You can achieve those short-term goals because they're so close. But as you go up the tree, the branches become less stable.
Yeah.
You're right. There is also abundance, right? There's so many opportunities. There's so many different ways the tree can branch. So keeping a flexible perspective is a good thing.
Thank you. Also, like for a solid short-term goal like the trunk, you need like a strong foundation, fertile soil. What would be considered the fertile soil in this analogy?
Knowledge.
Yeah, that's good. Knowledge, right? Just in your research, gaining all this stuff in part 2 might be the foundation that you need to build from, and identify that first goal that is going to help you reach all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And love.
Oh yeah, I'd love to support and
Support, sure.
therapy, and I guess like having a solid thing. So like the short-term goal of even just that day too can help build the goal of the month.
Yeah.
I think long-term goal is like a month for me, because like a lot of my stuff is like bite-sized for me. So it's like when I think of like 2 years in the future, I'm like, I don't even plan that far.
Right. Yeah, try to think a little bit big picture, but like I said, the long-term goals can be, I don't want to say vague in the sense that like they're not meaningful, but
It's like solid enough.
but yeah, like flexible. Your
Yeah.
long-term goals are more flexible than the short-term goals.
And they're kind of like and they can shift around like a Lego bricks or something.
Exactly.
You rearrange
Yeah.
them and just
Yeah.
the Lego bricks.
Yeah, certainly.
Thanks.
So yeah, part 2, do the research. Now I wanted to show us, let's see, at the bottom of this document, this is on Brightspace, go to the career plan module, this assignment is broken down here, but the first link here, APA careers, there's a lot of information here on careers. Let me see where I'm trying to go. On this page. Okay, so yeah, like some subfields of psychology give you ideas, but the job outlook, there's a lot of information as far as job outlook of the psychology major, different degrees, right? If you need a doctoral degree, what's that's gonna do for you, the master's degree, the bachelor's degree, and then I think I was thinking of FLCC Career Services website that we were on previously. And if you go down to what can I do with this major? then navigate on this page to social science and psychology. And this page has a lot of information. Okay, you want to go into human services, counseling, art therapy, music therapy, case management. Here's all the employers that you might end up working with. Some strategies, right? These strategies of how to achieve those career outcomes. So you can use these as a guide for creating your own personal goals. And then on the career services page as well, I think it's in Find Your Career. Yeah, so Find Your Career, the Occupational Outlook Handbook. This is going to be the source of a lot of your research for job outlook and salary, things like those, the description of resources. So let's take a look at this, the Occupational Outlook Handbook. Right, if you can search for a job, you can search by highest paying, you can search by fastest growing field of degree. Let's see if we can find. Where would psychology be under? Science, community and social science. Let's search. Field of degree psychology. This is very, very general, but psychology, median annual wage 60,000. Over 3.5 million jobs are filled with this degree, the psychology degree. And then here's a breakdown of different occupations within the psychology degree. So social workers, psychologists, educational counselors, or substance abuse, mental behavioral disorder, mental health counselors. And if you click on that, it'll bring you directly to that job and tell you, what's the median pay, what's the level of degree you have, the number of jobs. 17%, much faster than average, right? These are the things that you would want to be commenting on in part 2 of the 3. Salary, compensation, skills, education, experience requirements, job outlook, all of that. There's even other tabs here. How to become one. This might tell you, give you some ideas for what goals, right? What are the skills that you need? How to achieve licensing if the job needs you to be licensed. Job outlook. Similar occupations. This is nice too, right? Maybe you don't want to go into exactly substance abuse. Maybe you're more interested in marriage and family therapy, rehabilitation counselors, social workers, and so you can jump around here all day long, right? Go here, and then, so now we're looking at health education specialists. You can go to similar outcomes from there, and this might bring you to different stuff. Now I'm looking at a similar job of a high school teacher. Human service assistants, things like that. Dietitians, nutritionists. Okay, so those are the 2 things that I recommend you to use for part 2. What I can do with this major, so this is on the career services page, FLCC Career Services. What I can do with this major brings you here, and it gives you some strategies to achieve these various career paths within research or human services or human resources, education. And then the Find Your Career, which will bring you to this page and bring you to access the Occupational Outlook Handbook, which will give you a lot of that information as well. There's other links here. Do as much research as you feel is sufficient for a detailed look at your 2 jobs, your 2 careers that you want to research.
Am I able to do 2 or more? Am I able to do more than 2?
Yeah, if you want to do more than 2, I'm fine with you doing more than 2.
Thanks.
Yeah, research as many that you feel are interesting to you.
Thanks. So like art therapy, music therapy, is there a journaling therapy?
I don't know if that's a specific field, but I know journaling is like a strategy, a technique that counselors could potentially use with certain certain clients, but I don't think that's a field of its own.
Oh, dang. That's all right.
But yeah,
Thank
art
you.
therapy, music therapy are definitely too.
Thanks. I think I want to create a journaling therapy. I think journaling is really beneficial.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions on this, on part 2 and 3? All right, so the last thing I wanted to draw your attention to is the rubric. This is also posted on Brightspace, and this rubric is going to be used to grade your full career plan project. But there's a couple things in here that are relevant now to part 2 and 3. So like in this case, notes to receive high points, details about at least 2 careers included, discussion all topics listed in the assignment, and the goals and timeline. Right, this is part 3 pretty much primarily. 9 or more specific realistic goals. Right, 3 short-term, 3 medium, 3 long-term goals. That makes 9 goals. 3 or more organizations included. Right, talk about what organizations are going to help you reach your goals, whether it's at school, educational institutions, or internship opportunities, membership in various organizations. And the timeline that is well organized. It includes specific dates. All right, you're going to get through your semester here. That's one goal. You're going to have your goal is to have a greater than 3.0 GPA at the end of your first semester, this fall semester. So use dates and organize your timeline accordingly. And then the last piece here, this is more in reference to part 4, but just wanted to let you know that the rubric, if you haven't taken a look at it, is on Brightspace, and it outlines some of the standards, some of the guidelines, some of the things I'll be looking for in grading the final project. All right, any questions?
If I have any more questions, will I be able to email you about them?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
As always, please email me if you have questions. I'll get back to you. So that's what's due next week. Part 2 and part 3 here of the Career Plan Project, as well as read the article. The article is posted here under the Reflective Writing 3, A Prison by Any Other Name. This talks about the Stanford Prison Experiments. We will discuss this article. If you click on Reflective Writing Assignment 3, you'll see the article attached here. It's called A Prison by Any Other Name. And it's this PDF document, only 8 pages. There's a few references. It's really just 7 pages. And talks about the classic psychological experiments, the Stanford Prison Experiment. Maybe you've heard a thing or two about it from other classes or just on TikTok or something. But yeah, we will discuss that article next time.
Is there a written assignment for that, or just read it?
There is a written assignment, but that written assignment is due the week after next.
Oh, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about it this week.
No. So the career plan is due next week, and read the article for next week. But then, based on your reading, but also based on our class discussion, reflect on it. And the essay is due the week after next.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the next reflection.
Yes. Yep. Due the 19th. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for talking about what you found interesting from last week. I hope you read the article for next week, and we'll have a bit of a guided discussion on it. We may watch a little bit of a video to kind of get us a sense. There is a video posted on that link as well on the assignment. Take a look at it. It gives you some context for what actually went down, but it's a quite interesting experiment, one that has some ethical considerations, one that taught us a lot about social psychology as well. So yeah, we'll do that next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week.